Conan Exiles. Is it worth a buy? Let's read the words of the developer. An open world survival game set in the brutal lands of Conan the Barbarian. Survive in a hostile world, build your kingdom and dominate your enemies in both single and multiplayer. Yes guys, it's another rock-hitting, tree-thumping survival game. Only this one is horrible at this moment in time. It really is. Funcom known, I guess, for their awful launches. Anarchy Online, Conan, Age of Conan, or whatever the hell it was called, which is probably the worst launch I've ever seen in my life. And now Conan Exiles, which is absolutely abysmal. Absolutely abysmal. I don't know where to even start on this. It's laughable. It's laughable that this game has been launched in the state that it's in. Pretty much everything's broken. It's rubber banding absolutely horrifically with any kind of multiplayer or co-op. The lag is awful. The optimization isn't anywhere near as bad as what Ark was when Ark launched. I'm getting pretty decent FPS, but it's all the bugs. It's all the bugs. Everything kind of floats. It doesn't go on the ground properly. I've got a floating campfire outside my base. We've got animals that spawn in and just are floating. Enemy NPCs that 1 second they're alive, the next second they're dead. You end up in a fight with an alligator, and then while you're fighting that alligator, another one is spawned behind you. It's just the spawning system is totally ruined. You can build a bed so that when you die, you can respawn back on your bed. And there's a 50% chance that that just won't work at all. You know, there's times I've had my bed down and it's been assigned to me and I've died and I've started from the beginning of the game again. It's just bugged. I know it's early access, but even so, when you're paying £26.99 for a game, you expect that the developers have at least made a bit of an effort. This looks like it's never been play tested whatsoever at all. It just... Honestly, it looks like no one's even bothered. They've just thrown all this stuff down and said, there you go, it's fine, it'll be good, give us your money. And that's what you've ended up with. It's an unplayable mess, and I mean unplayable. There are design decisions that absolutely leave you scratching your head. For example, to build a fire, it takes 50 sticks. 50 sticks. I can build one with fucking 3. In real life. Which idiot at Funcom thinks 50 sticks is an acceptable number to build a fire? 50. 50. I could heat a whole house with 50 sticks. I only want to cook a fucking chop. You know? And the problem with that is, to get 50 sticks, you have to run around trying to find them or keep chopping at trees and you'll get like 1 stick every 3 or 4 chops. Which is ridiculous. So you're starving to death all the time you're trying to find your 50 fucking sticks. That's when you even have time to chop trees, because some of the players killing you with his axe or his spear, or there's an alligator biting your ass, or a bird attacking you, or a spider, or everything else that seems to walk or crawl on this land will just go for you instantly. The animals don't interact at all with each other. They find it far more sporting to use you as their target. So everything in the world is hostile, even the other players. And so you're going to starve to death, because it's one of them games where you need to eat 24 chickens just to survive the night. Yes, your hunger and thirst bar go down so fast that you have to constantly be eating and drinking water. So woe betide if you don't get your 50 fucking sticks, you're going to die. And dying is what you do. It is a dying simulator. It is so hard to get a foothold because of the stupid, idiotic game mechanics of the 50 sticks. It should be 10 max. 10. Because that gives you a chance to get into the game, build your fire, cook your food, and at least get a foothold into the game. Now, once you do get a foothold into the game, you can then start exploring the land, and the land is a nice looking world. I mean, the graphics aren't the best. It's not the best, but the world is very well designed. I love it. I absolutely love the world. I think it's fabulous. It's got caves, it's got hills, it's got oases, it's got rivers, it's got lakes. It's really nice to look at, and it has quite a nice assortment of animals in there as well, dangerous animals. and it has secret places. It's also tribes of NPCs that are hostile, that look like cannibals and stuff, and you can surrender to them. I haven't done that because they're probably going to eat my face if I do that, but there's NPC tribes. Now there's also NPCs just, you know, hanging around in very small groups, 2s and 3s, and you can actually capture them by beating them over the head with a club, a special leather club that isn't going to kill them, and then tie them up with rope and drag them back to your little house. And you can break their will over the wheel by getting them to walk round and around the grinding mill until they become your bitch. And there will be different types of NPCs. Some will be archers, which I'll come to in a minute. Some will be just fighters. Some will be priests. I'll come into that in a minute. Some will be crafters, and they will unlock cultural recipes for you. Others may be dancers who will dance for you. Dance, bitch, bitch! And what that does is removes the one from you that you get when you go into certain spiritual caves or something like that. You get this thing that works against you and the dancers take it off you. Yeah, that's a good explanation. You can also sacrifice people. You have priests, you build altars, and you worship your god. You just sacrifice them to your god, and that pleases the gods, or something like that. I haven't actually got to that bit. I'm just, you know. Yeah, I read that bit. I haven't actually experienced that, but I have experienced slave labour, which is really good in this game. It's called the thrall system. The whole idea, though, of the slaves is, as you build a bigger base, you can have archers up at the walls, you can have guards in your, you can build a yard, put up a fence around your buildings and have guards in there, and you can build a really kick-ass base with a lot of NPC guards there. You can also summon giant NPCs to defend you and attack other players' bases and stuff like that. So it's a really exciting, fun game what they've got here. It's a shame it doesn't bloody work, but what they've got down is probably the best survival game I've ever played. It is potentially the best. There is, Ark, no. Riding dinosaurs does literally nothing for me. This really does tickle my fancy. I've never seen potential like this before. This is, really, really, really good potential. They just need to fix everything. It's not like, oh, fix this and that. They need to fix everything. Like, everything. Even the crafting is a bit shit at the minute. There's loads of different crafting benches you can get, and you can mine all sorts of stuff, and the mining looks great in this when you're smacking down the rocks and the go to gravel. It's really nice. You can mine for coal, iron, bricks, clay, and all of that kind of stuff. Obviously there's the wood that you need to get off the trees. You can plant stuff. There's a shit ton of crafting stations that I just mentioned. You can tan leather, make different clothing, you can make metal armor and swords and shields and bow and arrows, and the bow and arrows are the worst bow and arrows you will ever see in a game ever. That you can't see the arrow, you don't know where it's landing, you've got no sense of how to even get strength on it or aim. It's awful. I was trying to hit this rabbit and it was just a joke. I don't know if I'm doing it wrong, but it just looks horrible, the actual bow and arrow system. So for me, what they need to change is the 50 sticks for a fire. They need to desperately cut down the amount of food you need to eat. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And all survival games get this wrong. They all get it wrong. They just do. Luckily, when you have your own server, you can change all of these attributes with a really handy UI with sliders to decide how quickly you want everything to happen or slowly you want everything to happen. So that does give a lot of control for your own server, but the official servers are just a nightmare. The official servers are a nightmare for a lot of reasons at the moment. So if you're looking for a good potential survival game, then Conan is it. Potentially, it really is. If this was made by an indie company, I'd be worried because there'd be too much to fix. But because it's made by a half decent company who can't launch a game to save their lives, maybe, just maybe, they will fix all of this. And if they do, and this is the thing, guys, if they fix all this, you're looking at the best survival game ever made. You just are. If they fix everything in this game, this is going to be the survival game to beat. Unfortunately, I'm only reviewing what I see, and what I see at this moment in time is a big freaking mess. It's an absolute mess, and I can't possibly recommend this at $26.99. I just can't. So I'm going to thumb it down, because, you know, you guys go out and buy this, you're going to see what the f*** you're talking about, Mark. It's an absolute mess. Nothing works. It's laggy. It's rubber banding. There's NPCs spawning on my face. There is one reason you might want to buy it, though. It has willies. It has willies. You can actually, in the actual player setup, the customization of the players is the best I've ever seen. You can change pretty much everything, even the size of your wang. Oh yeah, you too can have a wang like mine in this game, because it goes really small, or it goes really big as well. And you can have big-breasted women, yeah, and you can have, and before you worry about this, you can turn nudity off. I have it just on partial, which is probably just topless, you know. So you can, again, just configure what you see on your screen, but it does have great character customization. So there you go, guys, that's Conan Exiles. Certainly one to watch, and I'm going to come back to this sooner rather than later. This isn't going to be like a year later. I'm probably going to come back to this in a couple of months and just see if they've ironed out a lot of these bugs. And this is probably going to be my next donators server. I do like putting servers up for my donators, and I think Conan will be the next. So if you want it, buyer beware. It's full of bugs at this moment in time, but the potential, brilliant.